Dearest teachers, it is my great honor to stand before you today as your future President of the United States of America. I am your student, your daughter, a child of Natick Public Schools. The fact that it's an election year is a great time to think about the future. We stand on the brink of an exciting future, and it will be well led, well protected, and well loved because you, the teachers of our country, invested in those of us who will eventually lead the country, raise families, and care for other generations of Americans and others across the world. Yes, the future is bright, and statistics show that the future president is me, a brown-skinned female whose experience spans more than one culture and more than one language. Since we aspire for graduates of Natick to be global citizen leaders, we must inspire each other to take action for the sake of our future world. The world is increasingly diverse, culturally, racially, linguistically, and in terms of disabilities and exceptionalities. If we become the school system who is adept at supporting this diversity, teaching it, and cherishing it, we will not only continue to be the center of innovation, but we will also be a school system filled with love and inclusion. Unfortunately, statistics show that a girl like me will be president, but a girl like me will also experience multiple microaggressions in schools. It is important that we work together as a Natick community to stop microaggressions and their power on the next generation of leaders and the next generation of presidents. A microaggression is an everyday verbal, nonverbal, or environmental slight, snub, or insult, whether intentional or unintentional, which communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative messages to target persons based solely upon their marginalized group membership. This summer, my Chief of Staff, Dr. Nolan, interviewed students to ask them what message they would want to send to teachers on the opening day of school. Had they experienced times when they did not feel included or cared for in Natick schools? If so, what advice would they give to staff about these matters? All the students interviewed this summer told of times when they experienced microaggressions at some point. Students interviewed ranged in age from 10 to 18 from schools across the district. And while I, your kid president, am resilient because you have taught me how to be through modeling resilience yourself, showing me historical examples of it, and through direct teaching in the profile of a graduate, here's what your students say are the best tips for starting the year. Remember, kids are never one thing. Kids always have more than one identity at a time and many interests. They connect with other kids based on any of these identities or interests. So, teachers have to remember never to put kids in a box based on one particular characteristic or on their background. Out-and-out teasing doesn't really happen much anymore, but there is a subtler kind of discrimination out there that is just as hurtful and maybe more so. A kind of veiled pity or surprise, usually. This is something experienced by kids with different bodies that are too big or too small, or if their skin is too brown. It would be helpful if teachers were aware of this and could actively work on making sure that kids aren't comparing their peers to some invisible idea of normal, whether that's physical or academic or racial, even if they don't realize it. You matter. You matter a lot. Teachers are powerful, and we look up to you. When you are passionate about what you teach, we will go with you. Energy and enthusiasm matter. Little things make a big difference. I am a girl of color, and I think that every teacher gets so afraid they cannot possibly help with racism or microaggressions. We know you can't solve all that hurts society, but when you can do anything, any little thing, any kindness, any courage that says, knock it off, we notice and we appreciate. It's okay to mess up. We want you to. It makes us feel less of a need to be perfect. Help us be independent. We don't want you or our parents hovering over us. We want to take care of our own business, but we don't want to be ignored until we fail. We admire you. You have a really hard job and we know it. If something happens in class, like a racist comment or a sexist action or something, even if you don't know how to solve the whole thing right there, say something. Something even like, wow, that feels bad and I'm not sure what to do, but I know that we can't say that or do that here. Ask us our opinions. We want to share our ideas with you. And finally, never forget how books can change us all. So the best way to support students from all backgrounds is to engage everyone through stories of kids from all walks of life with all kinds of challenges, whether it's a disability or race or physical difference or sexuality. And the best news, teachers, is that you have the power to build the next generation, the next set of thought leaders, the next set of mothers, fathers, creators, workers, and fun makers. You are the brains, the energy, and the care behind the profile of a graduate. So while many will talk in the election year, complain in the election year, and fight in the election year, you will actually do something. You will create the next president, the next freedom fighter, and the next champion. But I ask you, Natick Public Schools, what is stronger than one teacher alone? All of you working together. You are a powerful force for good, for courage, and for combating the darkest parts of society. You are the light, you build the future, you are the Natick Public Schools.